Oh shoot, sorry if the audio quality was incredibly bad there for the first minute. I basically the headset mic I'm using, the microphone part is on like a little arm that can move up and down, so you can flip it up when you're not using it. And I flipped it up when I was my nose between recordings. I forgot to flip it back down. Fortunately, I'm such an incredibly loud person that it probably doesn't matter. And also, nothing I was saying was particularly interesting. Uh, these could be completely silent, and it would be just as interesting. Also, once again, great battle background. Really like how they did the ship there. It looks very cool. I know I say that a lot, but seriously though, doesn't it look pretty cool? And I like that as a choice for this background for this level because the level itself, when you look at it, is basically just stone walls and, you know, stone floors like the previous one. And like the most unique thing about it is it's the one with the boat. So the background they chose to focus on the boat, like to make it a little more unique and kind of stand out, which is a design decision that I like a lot. Okie dokie. This battle may be a little slow just because it's a map where you have to walk a long way, as we've seen a lot, but I don't think it'll be terribly, terribly difficult compared to the original version, like I talked about last time. Um, Compared to that, I think this will be a fucking breeze. Just because, like, we no longer have a character who can one-shot our entire army. There's a battle later that had the same problem. I'll point it out when we get there. But yeah, this was something that happened in multiple battles of the game where you had to deal with it. It's for the best that they fixed it, but I have to say, it was also something that was obviously very memorable with the game. Like I'm like I remember this specific battle and like the strategy I had to use. So like, yeah, it was bullshit, but it was really memorable and it was definitely challenging. That's for sure. Um, and it was really fun to be able to use freeze through yourself as well. Like it kind of felt like a reward for leveling up your mages enough. So it obviously is a better for game design and like playability to not have that in it, but just in terms of sheer like wacky fun stuff, I did enjoy it in its own unique weird way. I do think that is some part of the charm of like old games and stuff is that a lot of them were pretty busted and like not properly programmed and stuff. And sometimes that was kind of fun. She's not gonna do a lot of damage to the undeads, but you know I want her to do stuff. This is the one thing with Freeze also is that we have a couple battles sort of in a row here where we have a lot of undead and Freeze is not good against them, so it is a bit tough for our Freeze mage. But at least she can really hit the health sniper well, so. But our fire mage, on the other hand, the undead fear fire. And this will also kill the health sniper. Very nice. Very good. Excellent. And that also means that we cleared out the bottleneck that was blocking us from progressing. She's pretty close level 12, very nice. I'll have him just move up and, you know, just so we keep moving. Don't get stuck in a corridor there. Yeah, part of the fun of old games, I feel like, is that there were a lot of, like, weird glitches and questionable decisions and stuff that was just like, why was it designed like this? And even though that obviously made them frustrating to play sometimes, it did also make them kind of there's like a weird enjoyment to that too, like just how busted some of them really were, and you know, there are also some games in the past that like, and this is not one of them. Like I think this game is solid regardless, but there were definitely some games where there was nothing that stood out about them all that much except their weird glitches, and that actually made them kind of memorable and like an interesting part of gaming history. So even though it's like, yes, objectively it's better for games not to have glitches, sometimes the glitches can be kind of amazing in and of themselves and kind of fascinating. And occasionally one has games where they're the most interesting thing about the game. I mean, it depends on the glitch, right? Some glitches may be kind of boring or they just break the game, but some of them can just create like ways of playing it that weren't intended. And that are actually kind of fun and interesting just to explore and see how far you can push it. Modern games, not that modern games don't still have like bugs and issues and stuff, but I feel like they don't have as much of the like really off the wall like glitches that just let you do crazy shit. Like the old you know, like the Gen 1 Pokemon games where there's a glitch that if you do like a fairly involved sequence of things, you can access like arbitrary code execution and you can basically program your own little games and make the game play them, because I feel like modern games don't have that, you know? They're much more likely, if they have bugs or glitches, to either have like proper error detection so that the game can just crash or recover itself, or they're just smaller. They're not things that just open up this world of madness. I do feel like that's something that was just much more common back in the 90s when I was a kid, and there was a special delight to it. As objectively bad as it was in terms of game quality, it was also sort of fascinating. Like, it made games, I feel like it did lend this sense to games of like, you know, anything could happen. It's like a world of adventure. Even things could happen that weren't even intended by the developers. Plane going by outside. I don't know if this microphone is strong enough to pick that up. There's a very loud sound, however. I'm assuming it's connected to Logan Airport. That's our nearest airport. Ah, man, hearing planes go overhead, I feel like it's like dark nowadays because it just makes you think like people really shouldn't be traveling, but they are. It's gonna be Thanksgiving later this week, and apparently a lot of people are traveling, and that is worrying. But you know, nothing you can do. Can only try to make good decisions yourself. You can't control what other people decide. Let's move on from that incredibly not cheery topic. Guess we'll just keep kind of gradually moving forward. I'm trying not to expose the mages to too many attacks because they are fragile. Yeah, these Peg Knights, they can hit decently hard, but they're not that strong or anything. I feel like we can get rid of them pretty quickly. Do they have boost? I see they have MP. I don't remember them having boost in the original game. I feel like more enemies have magic in the remakes. But I don't totally remember. If I knew how to record from my they boost 3DS, I would consider doing like at least a couple of chapters of like the Game Gear Virtual Console version of that, because I definitely have some nostalgia for that. And I like played that and wasn't even like these graphics are terrible or anything. It was like, ah, nostalgia. But I have to say, now that I have seen the Sega CD versions, the Game Gear graphics do look way more primitive to me. I'm like, this is what I played as a kid? God, I had a lot of patience back then. My standards were not as high because the technology was not as advanced. And I don't even think of myself as someone who cares that much about graphics. Like, I like retro style stuff like this, but the Game Gear graphics were simple. Man, gotta get my two archers to level 10. Gotta focus on them a little. I neglected them too much. But, like, see how much easier this is when we don't have to basically just form a safety perimeter around the mage. It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, man, I gotta make sure Chester gets some levels. Okie dokie. Somebody injured. Oh, Ron's hurt. We can Slade earn some more X with some healing. Should remember to have Luke heal as well. I feel like I keep forgetting. See, The thing that I run into, I do this all the time, and it's terrible, I know, is that if a character is ahead in level in like the previous chapter, sometimes I'm like, oh, they're ahead, I don't need to focus on them, and then they fall behind because I just forget about them for so long. So I definitely do that. It's very regrettable. So sometimes who's ahead and behind keeps fluctuating. Actually, I just want to make sure the priest doesn't heal any enemies because it's really annoying. Yeah, let's have Graham finish off the priest. That's good. And gotta make sure to pick up that chest. Oh, one thing I should do is make sure to shuffle around items before the end of the chapter. Because this is the party split chapter. So I think I don't think you can trade items between your separated parties. And Dawn just picked up that steel sword, although I'll probably be able to buy them soon enough, but whatever. Let's just do a quick check with the member list just to see who's carrying what. Apparently this doesn't show what they're carrying. I have to look through it individually. Great. So fine. I just want to make sure no one has like a special item. Oh, I forgot he has the Sword of Hajya hanging around. We got that back. He can't wield it though. That's Prince Nick only. Yeah, I think it's just the steel sword we got from Dawn that we give to our swordie. Oh, and Eric has the power stick. I totally forgot about that. Can Slade even use the power stick? Yeah, he probably can. So we'll give it to Slade because, like, I think he has the best. Yeah, he has the best attack out of our various tiny mages. We don't have a lot of attack. We got the quick ring, but that'll be fine. It's useful always, so it's fine. Oh, and the Robin's there we should give to one of the archers. We're not next to any of them right now. And I want to save that for Jester, so let's just have you sit here. Item shuffling is kind of a pain. I could obviously egress and shift everything around, but, you know, I want to finish the battle and move on. Do this recording in a timely fashion. Actually, other stuff that because I'm like working on my nano novels. I want to make sure I allocate some time for that today. I wrote like 1,000 words already, but I want to do another 1,000. I'm pretty close to the end. I'm at like 46K, so you know, I kind of want to wrap that up over the Thanksgiving holiday. Because I'll just be at home anyway. Excellent. Gotta make sure to keep giving Chester kills though, so he doesn't fall behind further. Or he, rather. Keep forgetting Chester's his boy. Maybe she can just go grab this item, whatever. May have something she needs to give the arrows, so let's have her, she can give it to Chester, I guess. Sure. It's kind of arbitrary. Whatever. Does Slade have anything? He does not. So, does anybody need healing? But yes, I hopefully can wrap that up, but... Gotta start playing, Hyrule, the new, like, Age of Calamity game that came out. I pre-ordered it, and I'm like, I want to jump right in. In theory, I could record that, but in like, who would be interested in it? Alright, I need to try to give this sword. Because that's the thing, I feel like with recording like old games, it's like there's a certain evergreenness in a way. Battle Axe, gotta give that to Jaha. You know, because it's like, yeah, this game is from the 90s. It's like 30 years old at this point. It's not like, you know, it's not something where it's going to be like, oh, this is, you know, everyone's already done their hot take on this. No one's interested. And it's like, people, this game is 30 years old. It's just as fresh now as it was before, you know? It's not gonna like wear it out its welcome because it's already old. Whereas with something that's brand new, I feel like unless you're actively recording and have an audience and you like are actually posting like the day it comes out, you know, then I feel like it's sort of, it actually can be a thing where it's like, oh, this is sort of already old news. It's kind of a it's kind of a weird effect, right? Where the newest stuff you need to get your takeout quickly, or everyone's already had their say. Whereas with super old stuff, it's like, you can always come back and say something more about it now. Because, like, who else is talking about fucking Shining Force Sword of Hajya? I don't know of anybody. Whereas brand new stuff, you know, you're kind of competing for a small niche. Let's equip that brand new Robin Arrow, which also has a boosted attack range. Very nice. That's quite solid. Just want to make sure we level Chester. Yeah, see how much less dangerous this is? Whereas in the original game, this guy could have taken out literally everybody. He would, about 8 characters would be dead. And he's dangerous even as it is. Like, look how much damage that was. So just think how bad it was in the original. Oh, we can have Slade just heal him right up. Good. You still have to be careful, and I should try not to cluster everyone because that mage is quite dangerous, but... Slade will level up. Oh, he got... Oh, did he just get Blast? Nice, so he has a bit of a better offensive option. It's still translated as hell in this game, much like it was in Shining Force 1. And that still baffles me, because, like, it's not a spell that has any, like, fire or anything like that. It's just wind. So Blast actually pretty much made sense to me, because, like, a blast of wind, or maybe just a blast of, like, force, you know, it's just, like, battering them. Whereas Hell is just, like, why is it called that? It doesn't have anything to do with it. We're putting ourselves in super risk here, because we have 3 people in a row, but I'm hoping Jaha will get his turn and be able to move before the Master Mage. Fingers crossed. Gotta be careful, but, you know. Some risks are inevitable. This is kind of a bummer. She can't actually reach the Master Mage, but she can at least hit these 2. Because she's only close enough to target this one, basically, but you can clear out the skeleton. Oh, 1 skeleton. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. More levels for our mages is always good because then they can gain more spells, which is excellent. If we use the heal, just might as well use up all of his MP that we can. Just free X, basically. And he is going to come deliver that battle axe to Jaha, who is going to move out of the clumped formation. Our characters need to maintain their social distancing. That's the odd thing about the Master Mage. Sometimes these enemies just like randomly choose to attack instead of using magic, even though their attack is nothing to write home about. Oh, it was using an herb on him, I see. I think Chester can finish off this skeleton. See, the existence of multi-target magic in this game means that ranged attacks, or like archers and stuff, are really good because you can pile on an enemy without all being adjacent, which is important. That would be really fun. Let's have her chill. Alright, we gotta have Eric give him the power stick at some point. So Slade give him a swing. Just a little swing. I'm gonna go with Freeze 2 just to be safe, because sometimes Freeze only does 8 damage, and I don't want to leave him with 1 HP. Very good. Very good. Just want to make sure my mages are staying. Oh, she got Freeze level 3! See, this is the thing I want to point out right here. In the original game, where Freeze was bugged, she got Freeze at level 12. That's quite early. And it was, like, world-shatteringly powerful. Legit, all of these enemies could be destroyed by Freeze 3. You could basically just be like, these are the enemies I want to erase from the map. It was that good. And she gets it so early. Yeah, these are only 2 chests, right? We gotta make sure you get that chest before we finish the level. I think this guy is the boss, the Arch Knight, because he's new. So we're basically gonna have to send something down there. But yeah, so you got it so early and it was so strong. It was really satisfying, friends. It was pretty great. Alright, so, in spite of the fact that, because like the thing is, there weren't that many enemies who actually used it. You know, you don't run into too many enemy mages using Freeze 3. So it mostly was just a benefit for you, and really good against bosses. So I am a little bummed that got nerfed. Even though, again, I acknowledge that this is much better from a game design perspective, even if it is somewhat less fun. Sometimes having super broken abilities in games is just fun, you know? It's just like good hijinks. I kind of like me a challenge in games sometimes, you know, you actually don't want something that just speed runs it for you, you know, just destroys it, but sometimes you play a game and you're just like, I just want to like rain fiery destruction upon these various enemies, and that's just how you feel. That's a fun part of games. So let me just do a quick item check to make sure everyone has the stuff they're supposed to have, no one has something they shouldn't. I'm not worried about the quick ring because no matter what party we end up in, that'll be useful for someone. I can remember to actually equip everything. Okay, yeah, I think. And I'll have Dawn get the last chest there. I don't remember what's in it. Hopefully it's not an item someone else needs. Because that'll be right towards the end of the battle. Okay, so I think we won't be like super over time here. Though there is a cutscene at the end of this, so maybe we'll run a tiny bit over. But again, who's watching? It doesn't really matter. Like, in a way, creating content that you're never going to show anyone is sort of freeing. Even though I gotta say, in theory that should be true, but oh wow, that steel sword, and Ben decided to make a very impressive showing with his first battle with the steel sword. But what I was saying was that sometimes that's sort of not true also, because like, I really don't show most of my writing to anybody, you know, like I'm doing Nano. I really, you know, who's gonna see it? And yet, I feel deeply self-conscious about everything I write, to the point that sometimes it means that I like, oh yeah, that's fine, that's just a boost item. I don't know who we'll give to yet. That I like do not actually finish projects because I'm just like, it's too bad, even though I'm never planning to even show it to other people. So like, my level of self-consciousness is extremely high. See, I feel like this brings that out slightly less for me because, you know, something I'm writing, like I'm literally looking at the words on the page, seeing what I'm writing, and I'm like, oh god, this is terrible. Whereas with this, unless I go back and rewatch the recording, you know, I'm not seeing it in real time, basically. I don't, like, as I'm writing it, I have to look at what I'm writing, whereas this is like, I won't see it until it's already made, and at that point, it's done. So, there's a slight benefit in a way. Oh, I already equipped this battle axe. Good. This battle axe, I think this should one-shot this guy now. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, this battle, we're almost done. Let's do a quick party check here. Oh, no, not members. So we're mostly at level 12. Our archers, I really need to pay attention to the archers. Oh, let me also equip the quick ring so he can have higher agility and maybe can just turn more. And now we're bottlenecked a little here. It's a 2 square wide path, so that can happen. Anyone else to heal? Might as well have Slade use up all his heals if we can. Oh, we might as well heal next. More heals. Even if it's only 10x per pop, you know, it still helps. Oh good, she needs a heal too. Yeah, because with, you know, with 28, that's, you know, that's a, you can get what, like 90x per battle? Just from healing. So that's not bad at all. That's most of the way to a level every single battle. Oh. very worth doing when it is possible. I guess she may as well use up that last spell on the Arch Knight. I don't know why he's an Arch Knight. I guess it's like an Archduke, but for knights. It's just sort of a random name. I'm like, I'm not sure I understand the concept of it. Oh, does he have the power spear already? Like the upgraded spear? That's the higher level throwing weapons are. Oh, he has 2 power spears. Maybe we can get one. That would be quite excellent. And I think the party's split evenly so that we have like a paladin in each party, so it'll be fine no matter who gets it. I'm gonna try and give this skill to my archers because they're really falling behind. Let's have you use up one of your last 2 heals. Hopefully we'll be able to get that last one in as well. We are about to meet a healer who blows Slade out of the water, but they end up in different parties, so for the split. So he'll still be useful for a little while longer. But he generally doesn't stay the whole game because he's just not quite good enough. Oh man, my archers, I need to pay some extra attention to them. Let's use Slade's last heal. All the XP could have gotten. Very nice. Well, at least Chester's really close to another level, and so is Graham. They're actually the same distance. So we'll get Graham level here. Chester, hopefully we'll catch her up in the next one, and just focus on them a little so they don't fall behind. Because they are useful. I love my archers. Alright, and that's the battle. We've defeated Iom's army and taken their ship, yet something is wrong. The boat's not moving. Well, for one thing, it's still attached to the dock based on the gangplank being there, and for another thing, like, it's not a motorboat. Don't you need to raise the sail or something? I don't think it just goes on its own, like, automatically. What's happening? There's a reason for that. Huh? Who said that? Hey, Mayfair. You may remember this guy from the Shining Force Gaiden 1. This is Randolph. We recruited him in that game also and didn't use him. This guy is really unlucky, I have to say, because in the first game, he was part of the Guardian army that... Or maybe he wasn't. Was he... No, I think he was. I'm sort of trying to remember now. But anyway, he was one of the... He had gotten defeated, he was captured, we, like, rescued him. Or... No, actually, no. I think he was one of the Cypress Knights, maybe, who, like... were concerned about what was happening and kind of like got kicked out, and anyway he basically went through a rough time in that game also prior to joining our army and lost his comrades, and now in this game he sets out with the new Cypress army and also they get defeated and he once again ends up losing his comrades and joining a different army. So this guy, he's going through a very difficult time. And next to him is Sarah, a new character in this game. It's me, Randolph. I knew you'd come. Randolph and the Lady Sarah. This is a different Sarah than Shining Force 2. They're unrelated. Shining Force seems to have a habit of just reusing character names for characters that are not related to each other at all. Because, like, Slade was also in Shining Force 2, and he has nothing to do with this Slade. You were with the prince, right? Now, this game came out before Shining Force 2, so it's more like that game reused the names. Yes, but we lost the battle at Algum Fort. And she's also, I think it's actually not as obvious from this portrait. When I played the game as a kid, it felt like it was super clear that she was also one of the dog people, just like May. But maybe she's just supposed to be an elf. It's not totally clear to me from this portrait. She has non-human ears anyway, but possibly she's just an elf. Sarah, Claude, and myself escaped. Claude is our bird friend, also from the previous Gaiden game. I always use him in my party. He is great. We'll tell you the rest of the story later. Right now, we must get off this ship. Wait! Uh-oh! It's a trap! The boat really does go on its own, apparently. They're like running alongside the ship. How fucking fast is this ship? Again, it's not a motorboat. Is there like a strong wind behind us? This ship is moving on its own. Oh no. Maybe it's moving by magic, because like the ship was sitting perfectly still and then rockets off like it's a fucking like speedboat. Ben and the Shining Force sailed away. What will be awaiting them? What will be their fate? We'll find that out in chapter 3, because this is the end of chapter 2. I just wanted to let that musical cue play because it was kind of nice. I guess let's just wrap up watching the cutscene at the start of chapter 3 because we're already here. Would you like to record your adventure so far? So actually, I'll stop here. Thank you for watching, hypothetical viewers. We have just finished chapter 2. Um, we were on our way to rescue Nick from the Algam Fort, but all of a sudden, Iom's trap was sprung and our party is now split in two. One side being taken off to parts unknown under a ship that I guess is moving by magic, the other side trapped back on land. So we're going to find out what adventures await both groups and how they will eventually reunite in the next chapter of Shining Force Sword of Hajya.